Hello everybody. First of all, I want to start off by asking, how many of you wear your seatbelt on a consistent basis? Well, that's pretty good, all of you. Now, let's say for a moment that you didn't. Imagine that you're in a car accident. Think of all the outcomes that could possibly happen from not wearing your seatbelt. So, in the U.S., it is a federal law that you have to wear your seatbelt while you are driving a vehicle. Now, it depends on which state you're in, like on this visual aid here, whether it is a primary or secondary enforcement, which means that if it's a primary enforcement that you cannot wear or you have to wear your seatbelt while you are a passenger as well, not just a driver. And in other states, when it's secondary, it is you can wear your seatbelt or not wear your seatbelt for the secondary as a passenger. And according to NCSL, there are 25,351 people killed in a motor vehicle accident annually, and 55% of those are due to failure to wear a seatbelt. So let's begin by talking about some facts about wearing and not wearing a seatbelt. Since the development of automobiles, another element has been added to our society that can cause death. And the best way to prevent these deaths is by wearing a seatbelt. And according to seatbelt legislation in the U.S., the first seatbelts became mandatory in the U.S. in New York in 1968. And then according to Just Drive EPA, wearing your seatbelt increases your survivability of a motor vehicle accident by 60%. And also, since the introduction of seatbelts into motor vehicles, the number of motor vehicle deaths has decreased. Now I want to talk about the results about not wearing your seatbelt. And according to Law Corps, there are 6 million accidents yearly. So don't think an accident can't happen to you, because it can. And as my driver's ed teacher always said, you can't control the other drivers. You can only control yourself and the way you're driving. Now that we have discussed the facts about wearing a seatbelt, let's talk about the results of wearing a seatbelt. If you become in a motor vehicle accident and you're wearing your seatbelt, you have a 60% chance that you are not going to die. Yes, you have a 40% chance, but I'd rather take 60% over 40% any day. Also, you have to think about your loved ones. And by wearing that seatbelt, you're ensuring to them that you have a better chance that you're not going to be harmed, and you care more about them. And by not wearing a seatbelt, there's some pretty drastic outcomes. But it is a life choice, and nobody can make you wear a seatbelt. And as me being an EMT, we have seen plenty of situations where not wearing a seatbelt is not a good option, or wearing a seatbelt was the best option. The car could be totaled and the person will walk away without a scratch. So they do make a difference. And now that I've given you the statistics, I hope you can take the time to put on your seatbelt and deal with maybe a little discomfort, because by wearing a seatbelt, you're going to ensure that you're not causing discomfort to your family members and your loved ones. Thank you all.